You're watching the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored, and thank you for joining for our second half hour. Now, this case shows the horrible and ugly side of adoption. Two gay men in Georgia who adopted two boys have been arrested. Police say William and Zachary Zullock were sexually violating the boys and recording the vicious acts on camera, making child pornography. This kind of case is a worst fear for people who are against gay couples adopting. We have to note it's also very rare those adoptions end in sexual abuse or child pornography like this one did. My guests continue that conversation tonight.
Obviously, this has started a lot of naysayers to talking, many conservatives who said this, they've said all along we shouldn't allow same-sex couples to adopt children. When you hear individuals say that, Mike, your thoughts on that kind of reaction to this kind of case?
Well, one, that's not based in facts. At the end of the day, adoption decisions should be based on what's in the best interest of the child. And abusive parenting is wrong, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, or religious belief system. And by that standard and definition, we should be we shouldn't allow our kids to be adopted by people who are from faith communities, people who are potentially even Catholic, or people who are even passionate about Boy Scouts, because all these factors have contributed to some form of child molestation. When you think of Josh Duggar, when you think of just in Louisiana last week, a woman stabbed her kids because of a custody dispute, and she was in a heterosexual relationship. So this type of abuse is not immune or not just siloed to one particular community. This is something that we all should be aggressively fighting against.
Jack Vincent, your position on this, when many conservatives have said now this is why same-sex couples should not be allowed to adopt children?
Well, along those same lines, I think that I think that allowing same-sex couples to adopt can cause some issues in terms of confusion for the children. But for me to sit here and say that there's not been same-sex couples who have raised well-acclimated children is just false. But it would also, if you say a same-sex couple is going to go out and have all of their children, every same-sex couple is going to go out and make their children participate in child porn, is like saying every priest is bad, every cop is bad, every doctor is evil. I mean, it's just not true. I do think that if you're going to adopt, regardless of whether you are in a same-sex relationship or not, I think they need to do psychological background testing. I think they need to do some questioning to make sure that these people are going to be good for the child or children.
And Mike, would you disagree with that? Just psychological and background, which is standard.
Yeah, no, I definitely recommend that there's always to be a vetting in place when you're deciding where a child should be placed. There's over 40,000 Texans kids right now in foster care without stable permanent homes. And I can't imagine denying them a healthy, loving environment just because a couple happens to be part of the LGBTQ plus community. No child should be denied the stability and love of a forever home simply because the parents who want to provide them are gay. And yes, there are all types of contributing factors towards a child's mental health and their ability to cope with the world that we live in. And that all goes back down to healthy parenting, right? And that's not necessarily siloed to just queer parents. I would also argue that heterosexual parents need to be exceptionally mindful of how they're raising kids as well, as definitely as it relates to making sure kids have a healthy mental health standard and atmosphere.
And this is to either one of you, if you want to answer this question, and I'd like to hear a response from both of you. Do you think what this Georgia couple has done and accused of doing has caused some damage for those who are looking for this type of red meat to chase, saying, look, this is why they should not be allowed to adopt it? Either one of you can jump in. Do you think it has done some damage?
I think Republicans or the far right specifically are in a space where they would try to find anything to discriminate against communities that they disagree with, whether you're a woman, whether you're part of the LGBTQ plus community, whether you're Black or brown. And this is one of those fuels for their far right extreme ideology.
And I don't know if it's done any more damage or if it's just lent some credibility to what they're thinking. And when I say credibility, not legitimate credibility, but credibility in their own mind that this is going to reaffirm what they think is right or what they think is wrong. I do think that I don't think that in the long run it's going to make any changes. It's just like the far left who want to have new gun laws because we have some people getting shot. They're going to use whatever fodder they have to try and establish their argument. And so there's going to be people who try to use this to establish their argument. But hopefully level heads will prevail.
All right, gentlemen, thank you both for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. We appreciate your time tonight.